In the wild, the rules of survival are absolute. Predators and prey. Hunter and hunted. Natural enemies that can never coexist. But what happens when a mother's instinct breaks every rule written by millions of years of evolution? This is the true story of an impossible bond that shocked the scientific world. A tale of abandonment, survival, and a twist of fate no one saw coming. The sun came up over the Gur Wildlife Reserve. Morning light spread across the semi-wild area where a mother leopard had just delivered 5 babies in a hidden spot within her breeding zone. This place was specially made for animals to have their young with as little human contact as possible. The tiny leopards, with their light yellow coats covered in black spots, pressed close together to stay warm. Their mother licked each baby, washing them and helping their blood flow better. When she got to the smallest one, she stopped and spent more time with him. This little cub was only half as big as his brothers and sisters. His small body shook with every little movement. While grooming her youngest, the mother leopard found a strange bump in his lower belly area, a sign he was born with an inguinal hernia. Her eyes showed worry. Even in this protected place, weak babies still had many obstacles to overcome if they wanted to live. Through the first 7 days, the mother leopard took care of all 5 cubs. She ate the food given to her and caught small animals in the zone she was allowed to hunt in so she'd have plenty of milk for her fast-growing babies. The 4 bigger cubs were doing great, but the smallest kept growing very slowly. He drank less milk and often curled up when he moved, clearly in pain. When his brothers and sisters played in the shadowy corner, the youngest would just lie there, watching with big, round, interested eyes, but he couldn't join in. Her survival sense told the mother leopard that putting too much energy into a cub who probably wouldn't make it could put all her babies at risk. Even in this safe zone, this was a hard but needed choice that many animal mothers have to make. One afternoon, as the sun started going down, the mother leopard suddenly became tense. She smelled a male lion moving close to her area, maybe a lion from another section of the reserve who had crossed a line he shouldn't have. This was dangerous. Male lions often kill babies of other animals to get rid of future rivals. Without a moment to waste, the mother leopard chose to move her babies to somewhere safer. The mother leopard picked up 1 cub in her mouth and started moving. One by one, she came back to carry each baby until only the youngest was left. When she returned that last time, she looked at her small cub lying there, breathing shallowly. The lion's roar was getting closer. This was the moment of decision. The mother leopard made the painful but necessary choice to leave the youngest behind so she could save the other 4. With one last look of regret, she turned away and vanished into the growing darkness, leaving her smallest cub all alone in the dark corner of the breeding area. The little leopard lay curled up, shaking from both cold and fear. Outside, the heavy steps and roars of the lion came closer and closer. He tried to get up, but the pain in his belly made him collapse. Without his mother there to protect him, the baby leopard was facing certain death. Night came quickly, and with the dark came crushing loneliness. The hours dragged on like years for the tiny creature. Hunger started to hurt him badly. But the leopard cub could do nothing except lie still and wait. In the wildlife reserve, even with people watching, nature still ruled, and the future of weak individuals stayed uncertain. The next morning, a bit of hope showed up as the first sunbeams lit up the area. The leopard cub was still alive, though weak and starving. He tried to make a small sound, hoping his mother would come back, but only the wind responded. His future looked sealed. Making it through a second day without mother's milk was nearly impossible for a newborn leopard who was already born with a problem. Not too far off, A female Asiatic lioness with golden fur was hunting in her own section of the reserve. She was the only member of her lioness group who was raising cubs right now. 3 weeks before, she'd given birth to 4 cubs and hidden them in a secure spot nearby. Unlike African lions, Asiatic lions usually live in smaller groups, on average just 2 adult females, and females often hunt by themselves when they're raising little cubs. That morning, researchers had led a nilgai, an Indian blue bull, which is a big antelope, into the lioness's hunting zone. This was part of the conservation program designed to keep the hunting skills sharp in the animals living in the reserve. After hours of stalking, the lioness had finally brought down her prey. Now she was pulling the nilgai body toward where her hungry cubs were waiting. Her route took her past the breeding area where the abandoned leopard cub was lying. As she walked by, the lioness suddenly froze. A strange smell hung in the air, the scent of another big cat, but also the smell of something young. Her hunting sense made her alert, but another instinct also woke up, the instinct of a mother. The lioness left her kill and headed toward the area. She moved carefully, ready for any danger. Instead, she discovered a tiny shaking creature, the leopard cub with black spots standing out bright against his pale yellow fur. What's interesting is that lion cubs, when they're first born, also have spots, especially on their heads, legs, and bellies, making the two species look similar. The leopard cub saw the lioness and curled into a ball, waiting for death. But something unexpected happened. Instead of attacking, the lioness started sniffing the leopard cub. Maybe the immediate signals from the leopard cub, like his sounds, his posture, his nursing movements, and especially those spots, had awakened the mother instinct in the lioness. Instead of seeing a future enemy, she saw a baby who needed help. The leopard cub, too weak from hunger and no water, made a faint cry, a sound very much like what a lion cub makes when it's hungry. This cry seemed to be what sealed it. The lioness started licking the leopard cub, cleaning him and helping his circulation just like she did with her own cubs. After some time, the lioness made an unusual but instinctive choice. She gently grabbed the back of the leopard cub's neck and lifted him. Instead of going back to her kill, she carried the leopard cub to where her cubs were waiting. Animal behavior specialists later said that taking care of young seems to be an automatic response, a kind of fixed behavior pattern that's been shaped by natural selection and experience over time. When the lioness came into her area carrying the leopard cub, her 3-week-old lion cubs looked with curiosity at the strange creature. They were old enough to see he was different, but not old enough to think of him as dangerous. The mother lioness gently put the leopard cub down among her own cubs and went to get the prey she'd left behind. The leopard cub, scared at first, slowly calmed down when he understood there was no immediate danger. The lion cubs came closer, sniffing and licking the leopard cub, welcoming him as a new member of their group. Soon the leopard cub was lying with his lion siblings, enjoying the warmth from their bodies. When the mother lioness came back with the prey, she saw something incredible. The leopard cub had been accepted by the lion cubs. She dragged the kill closer and started tearing off the meat. The lion cubs came up to eat, and the leopard cub tried to do the same, though he was still too little to eat meat. Seeing this, the mother lioness pushed the lion cubs back and lay down, letting all of them, including the leopard cub, nurse. This was a critical moment. The leopard cub had officially become part of the lion family. Researchers at the wildlife reserve, watching the situation through remote cameras, chose not to step in with this unusual natural event. They decided to watch and document it, seeing this as a precious chance to study animal behavior and instincts. In the days after, a strange family took shape in the Gur conservation area. A female lioness, 4 lion cubs, and 1 leopard cub lived together as a complete family. The mother lioness treated the leopard cub like her own, nursing him, cleaning him, protecting him, and even teaching him basic skills. The leopard cub, though still smaller and much weaker than his lion siblings, had started gaining weight and getting stronger. The lioness's milk gave him enough nutrition to develop, even if not as quickly as a normal leopard would. The inguinal hernia was still there, making him move slowly and sometimes with pain, but it wasn't threatening his life anymore. The lion cubs accepted the leopard cub as one of them. They played together, practiced hunting moves, and slept in a pile. Sometimes the lion cubs were too rough with the delicate leopard cub, but the mother lioness always stepped in at the right time to keep him safe. To the lion cubs, the leopard cub was just a slightly different brother. On the big rocks where the lion family often rested, the leopard cub and his lion siblings made a scene worth remembering. They climbed up and down, chasing each other around the rock gaps. The leopard cub, with the natural climbing ability that leopards have, sometimes showed more skill than his lion siblings when going up, even though the hernia still limited him. On top of the rock, the group often lay in the sun, with the leopard cub standing out among the golden bodies of the lion cubs with his distinctive black spots. On afternoons in the grasslands nearby, the mother lioness often watched as her cubs played. The leopard cub, though weaker, still tried to join in hunting games, an important part of how big cats grow up. The lion cubs pretended to attack, rolling around on the grass, while the leopard cub tried to copy them with his limited strength. Sometimes he'd lie hidden in the tall grass, using his naturally spotted coat to blend in, a leopard instinct, before jumping out to startle his lion siblings. The mix of natural leopard behaviors and living in a lion environment created something unique in the natural world. Researchers at the Wildlife Reserve watched closely as this special family developed. They recorded every interaction, learning about how social connections form between different species. This finding opened up new ways of thinking about how flexible the mother instinct is and how well wildlife can adapt. But despite the good care, the congenital inguinal hernia stayed a serious issue for the leopard cub. Researchers talked about whether to do medical treatment but decided not to, wanting to see the natural process and avoid stressing the lion family. After living with the lion family for about 40 days, the leopard cub started showing signs that he was getting weaker. He ate less, slept more, and didn't play as much with his lion siblings. The mother lioness seemed to sense this and spent more time beside him, licking him and trying to get him to eat. On day 45, the leopard cub died while sleeping. With no signs that anything had hurt him from the outside, researchers figured out that he died from problems caused by the congenital inguinal hernia, not from being attacked or treated badly. The mother lioness had shown no harmful actions toward the leopard cub the whole time she cared for him. Instead, she'd nurtured him, nursed him, shared her food, and let him play with her biological lion cubs. The mother lioness responded to the leopard cub's death in a shocking way. She lay next to his body for many hours, sometimes licking him as if she was trying to wake him up. The lion cubs also seemed confused, walking around the leopard cub's body, sniffing him, and even trying to play with him. This proved that a real bond had formed between the members of this special family. Finally, following the rules of nature, the mother lioness had to leave to hunt for her remaining cubs. Only then did the researchers step in, taking the leopard cub's body to study it and figure out exactly what caused his death. The examination confirmed that the leopard cub died from complications of the congenital inguinal hernia that led to a blocked intestine and infection inside his body. Even though the story ended sadly for the leopard cub, He lived his last days being cared for and loved instead of dying alone and hurting. The mother lioness and her cubs kept living their lives in the wildlife reserve. But the story of this special family left a deep impact on the animal conservation community. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, the lead researcher who'd monitored the family, stood before her colleagues at the wildlife conference months later. What we witnessed challenges everything we thought we knew about interspecies boundaries, she said, her voice thick with emotion. Did you consider intervention? Someone from the audience asked. Dr. Mitchell shook her head. Every instinct told us to help, but we knew this was something far more important to document. The lioness showed us what maternal love really means. Another researcher leaned forward. But surely this was just an anomaly? A mistake of instinct? Was it? Dr. Mitchell replied. Or was it proof that love and compassion exist in forms we've barely begun to understand? The researchers published what they saw in a well-respected science journal with the title, Interspecies Adoption Between Asiatic Lions and Leopards, a study of maternal instinct, and the article got a lot of attention and encouraged new research about social behavior and instincts in wildlife. This rare event also raised awareness about how important it is to protect endangered big cat species in India. Both Asiatic lions and leopards are rare animals that need protection, and the story of a connection that crossed species lines created a fresh wave of support for conservation work. For scientists, this event opened new questions about how flexible instinct is and how well animals can adapt. If a female lioness could accept and take care of another species' baby, what does that tell us about the nature of mothers' love and social connections? For regular people, the story of the leopard cub and his adoptive lion family became a symbol of love crossing all barriers. It reminded everyone that even in the tough wild world, there's space for kindness and connection. At the Gur Conservation Area, a small sign was put up at the place where the mother lioness met the leopard cub, with simple words carved on it. Here in 2023, a lioness taught us about love without limits. It was a reminder of the special story that happened there. The story of little spots among lions. The lion cubs, now much bigger, sometimes still looked for their different brother. They couldn't grasp the idea of death, but seemed to feel that something was missing. The mother lioness, with her strong will to survive, continued raising her cubs, getting them ready to face the wild world. But in her eyes, sometimes a look would flash as if she was searching for something she'd lost. As the lion cubs matured, the story of their spotted leopard brother would become just a fading memory and would eventually disappear altogether. But for those who saw and recorded this rare event, it would always be a reminder of the strength of instinct and love, things that can overcome even barriers we thought couldn't be crossed. The story of the leopard cub and the lion family in the Gur Conservation Area wasn't just an unusual biological event, but carried deep meanings about the relationship between instinct and surroundings, between love and survival. Years after this event was documented, scientists, conservationists, and animal lovers still often referred to it as an amazing example of how complex the natural world is. The event of cross-species adoption, especially between species that are normally predators and competitors in nature, showed the thin line between basic instinct and an animal's ability to adapt. The mother instinct of the lioness got past evolutionary barriers built over millions of years, triggered by simple but strong signals. The cry of a young creature, spots on the body like her own cubs had, and maybe a deep urge to care and protect. In science journals, many comparison studies were done between this event and other cases of cross-species adoption in nature. From dolphins adopting humpback whales to baboons taking care of wildcat kittens or wolves raising bear cubs, all showed the incredible ability of mother's love to go beyond species limits. But the case of the lioness and leopard cub was still thought of as special because of the natural hostile relationship between these two big cat species in the wild. In academic groups, a big debate started about whether this was an example of an adaptive mistake, when a behavior that developed through natural selection to handle a specific situation gets triggered in a different context, leading to results that might not help that animal? Or was this proof of how incredibly flexible instinct is, a form of natural intelligence that lets animals adapt to unexpected situations? For conservationists, this story became a powerful teaching tool in wildlife protection programs around the world. The image of the leopard cub among the lion pride was used to show the complexity and beauty of the natural world, inspiring many generations of young conservationists. It was also a reminder that each individual in nature has its own purpose and worth, no matter what species or where it comes from. More deeply, this event brought up philosophical questions about what love really is. If a lioness could overcome instinctive barriers to care for another species' baby, what does that say about the capacity for empathy and love? Animal psychologists started to rethink traditional definitions of love and compassion, ideas often thought of as belonging only to humans. In the context of the worldwide crisis of biodiversity loss, this story carried another powerful message. As species keep disappearing from our planet at a frightening speed, each complex relationship in nature that gets broken is a loss we can never get back. The Asiatic lion, with only a few hundred individuals left in the wild, and the leopard, though more common but also dealing with shrinking habitat, are both species that need protection, not only for their ecological importance, but also for their ability to give us new insights into the natural world. At a school in Mumbai, teacher Priya Sharma showed her students the famous photograph of the leopard cub among the lion cubs. A young girl raised her hand. "Miss, why did the lioness help him if leopards and lions are supposed to be enemies?" Priya smiled gently. "That's the beautiful mystery, isn't it? Sometimes love is stronger than the rules we think exist. Sometimes a mother's heart sees only a child in need." "But he died anyway," another student said sadly. "So what was the point?" "The point," Priya replied, "is that he didn't die alone. He knew warmth, safety, and love. Isn't that what matters most? For humans, creatures proud of their reasoning and morals, this story was also a humbling reminder. If a lioness could overcome deep evolutionary barriers to care for a creature from another species, then humans, with all their intelligence and technology, what more could they do to overcome the barriers they create themselves? In a world getting more and more divided by artificial differences, this story of love without boundaries carried an especially powerful message. The short life of the leopard cub, though ending in sadness, left a deep and lasting mark. He proved that even in the hardest circumstances, love can spring up and grow. He showed that instinct and environment aren't always opposing forces, but sometimes can work together to create magical moments. The wind still blows across the Gir conservation area. The rocks where the unlikely family once rested together still stand under the sun. The grasslands where a spotted cub once played among golden siblings still wave in the breeze. And somewhere in the heart of everyone who heard this story, a small truth remains, that love, in its purest form, knows no species, recognizes no boundaries, and asks nothing except the chance to give. The little leopard with spots lived only 45 days, but his story will live forever, a testament to the mysterious, beautiful, and endlessly surprising nature of life itself. Did you enjoy this story? If you were the researchers watching through those cameras, Would you have intervened to save the leopard cub's life, or would you have let nature take its course? If you liked the story, subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day.